Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. My name is Katie Kaiser, and today I have with me Jamie Lynn Doki. Jamie Lynn is a senior on the counseling program here at Johnson University, and today she's going to tell me about her practicum assignment. And Jamie Lynn, I believe you did your practicum at Maine Support.
Yes.
Do you want to tell me some about that?
Yeah, Maine Support is a nonprofit organization that services Blount County and the surrounding areas. It's also an equine assisted growth and learning association, which means that they use horses like therapy dogs. And so a lot of what they work with is mostly with bereavement, which is children, youth, teens, adults, someone who's experienced death or is expecting to experience death in their life. And so they counsel them through the use of horses. In addition to that, they also do a lot of they have an art therapy class that does 9 weeks in the summer. And they work with little kids, I'm talking 5-year-olds that are real cute. But they get to work with them and teach them how to channel all of that anger and that depression and sadness that they're going through. Also, hopefully within the next year, they're going to be starting a military support group, which works with veterans who are struggling with PTSD. And it's not just for men, it's also for women. They also have lots of classes and education programs that they teach in the community. They teach classes at Pellissippi, Maryville College, and Hiawassee College as well. And pretty much Kim Henry, who's the founder and director, she is the one that facilitates all of that. So,
Tell me a little bit about Kim Henry.
Kim Henry is, like I said, she's the founder and director of Maine Support, and she founded this 8 years ago with her husband. She met Kelvin through one of the ladies that was a brother of hers, and so they kind of met and they fell in love and they got married. And so he just seen her passion for working with kids and teaching, and he's like, why don't you start your own facility for working with kids that are struggling with death and grief? And so at the time, her husband was a ranch herder, so he had a farm and all this other stuff. So they got the land, and she just was going crazy. She had no idea what she was going to do with her life. And so he bought her what they call a midlife crisis. And it's a horse, Yank, who was their first therapy horse. And so she just started training him and just teaching him the basic ropes without riding, because it's an on-ground work, so you don't ride any of the horses, because she actually rescued Yank. And so riding him would be painful because they have lots of different ailments. So anyway, she started this, and she just was like, is there a program? Is there such a thing as teaching horse therapy to people? And so she looked into it, and she found lots of sites called EGALA, which is Equine Growth and Assisted Learning Association, which teaches people, counselors, anybody, how to do horse therapy. And so every 3 years you have to go and get recertified. So this past October, she actually had the opportunity to go to Belgium and get recertified and all that stuff. So it was really crazy. But her passion for doing this and working with just adults who've struggled with death and kids it's really inspiring to see, especially hearing her story and knowing where she's come from. In addition to that, Kim Henry she teaches all the classes. And so I've got to observe her teaching classes at Maryville and hopefully Hiawassee College with little kids, and it's amazing.
It's really neat. Do you mind just telling me about your experience at Maine Support, just the people you've worked with, the work that you've gotten to do?
Yeah. When I first started, they weren't really sure where to put me, in the sense that they had a lot of clients, but a lot of them were open and they weren't very okay with having someone observe. So she started training me in the barn and actually teaching the horses what to do, like where to go, stop, sit, and all that other fun stuff. And so I got to work with Sarah Jo, who is actually the community head director, but she also started as the leader for the therapy, teaching horses therapy. I also get to work with Chris, who is in the process of taking over Sarah's job so that Sarah can focus more on doing the art therapy. So Chris is actually working as the volunteer coordinator, and so she works with all of us volunteers and interns that come in, and she's the one that's teaching me at the moment to work with the thoroughbreds.
Do you have a favorite story or moment from your practicum that you've been?
Yeah, this past Friday I got to work with a group of boys from Gateway, and it was interesting working with them because before I came to Johnson, I actually worked for Gateway, and so actually being on the opposite side and observing and seeing them work with the animals was really cool, and getting that experience, because a lot of times, like, I've just been watching videos of like what clients are like, and so this was like one of my first big groups that I got to work with, and just observing that and just watching them and actually seeing how the horses respond and the different things was just, it was eye-opening that there's other means of therapy out there instead of giving someone medication for depression or sending someone to a psych facility because they have bipolar, which is what a lot of these people that are coming here do have. Besides grief, they also have these things. And so I'm not going to say that a lot of times people are cured when they come to main support, but more times than not, they actually are, and they don't need to be on medication anymore. And so that's really cool to see that holistic type of method with them.
Definitely. So how has working at main support, how has it helped you prepare for your future after Johnson?
Yeah, I keep wondering that because I've only got to work with groups a couple times, but even during that glimmer, it's just, it kind of gives me that other sense that, you know, there's other things I can get into besides clinical therapy and, you know, psychiatry. I can actually get into like maybe doing art therapy or like horse therapy, and just experiencing this has just been amazing because I never thought I would ever work with horses and humans in one setting together in my life. And so it's just, I don't know, it's just been like, kind of like a God thing. Like, I don't really know where I'm going after Johnson. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing, but I'm hoping that somehow I can actually incorporate working with horses or animals or some type of different therapy, and just working with Kim and seeing the compassion she has and the love. And even though she has worked with clients that have struggled with a lot of very close things that she has, and just seeing how she responds to them has showed me how to be a better counselor and how to learn to be a better therapist through that. So it's just been pretty cool.
It's pretty neat. So my last question for future Johnson students or counseling students that are trying to figure out what practicum site to go to, what would you say to them to encourage them to maybe consider main support?
I would say to give it a lot of prayer and thought, because a lot of times, like, there was frustrating days when I would come back because I'd only have like 2 hours on the site when you're supposed to actually get somewhere between 6 and 8. And, you know, so it's challenging in the sense that, you know, there's a lot of times that Kim is just going crazy. She has a huge schedule. She was working with several hundred different people, literally, in like one given week. And so the frustrating part is that you're going to have to just fly by the seat of your pants, and you can't write a set schedule. But the good things is that you get to learn to become a better therapist. You get to work with horses and learn holistic methods of healing. And so I would recommend that to students if that's what they're looking into doing, but not just to students who are just like, oh, I want to do clinical therapy. That's probably not for you, because Kim is very adamant about not giving people medication or other types of treatment. She'd rather them just to learn to heal by themselves. And so I'd recommend Johnson students who are looking to do that.
Well, thank you so much, Jamie Lynn, for coming in today and sharing with us about main support. And I hope that this can be a good resource for future counseling students to kind of look back on, and hopefully that they'll consider working there. And thank you all for watching, and have a good day.